And you as well.
Okay. I wanted to ask you how to stay in the present moment, because when I meditate,
What time is it?
it's now.
What time is it?
I don't have a watch.
What time is it? What time is it?
It's now.
What time is it?
Now.
What time is it?
Am I answering it correctly? Now?
Yes.
Now,
What
now,
time
now.
is it?
Now.
What time is
Now.
it? What time is it?
Now.
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 What time is it? How much longer would you like to stay in the present moment?
For every moment.
All right. Now, please understand this. Again, we understand that sometimes these things can actually be a little bit misleading because they are being translated into your earth human language. Mm-hmm. You're always in the present. You're never not in the present. You can't be anywhere else actually. Mm-hmm. But you can pretend that you are not in the present. You can create the experience that you're not in the present, but you have to be in the present in order to create that experience.
Right.
If you know that, then you'll always be experiencing the now. Mm. But euphemistically, we have talked many times about the idea that in your terms, the easiest way to do that is by always acting on your highest excitement. Yes? Mm-hmm. Because excitement keeps you in the now. If you live in the now fully, knowing that everything that's going on right now is exactly what needs to be happening, and you're not thinking you're supposed to be somewhere else, you're not invalidating what's going on now, then you'll stay in the now. Because the only thing that's important is what's going on now and what your relationship is to it. Because remember, even what seems to be many different moments are actually the same moment, just from a different point of view. You understand that concept?
I do.
So you're always actually in the now,
Right.
but you can play the game to pretend that you're not. But if you know you always have to be in the now in order to play the game that you're not, then you'll remember that you're always in the now.
Right.
Does this help?
It does, but I have to tell you, this is the most exciting thing I've ever had happen right now.
Yes.
So thank you.
And you can use that because what you call memory is also created in the present. Memory doesn't come from the past. You create it in the present. So if you remember this moment that you feel right now, anytime you wish, you'll be in the now. Yes? Because you're creating a vibration that you say is representative right now of the most exciting thing you have ever experienced.
Right.
So anytime you remember this moment and feel that same feeling, you will then be experiencing the most exciting thing you've ever experienced. Mm-hmm. And when you're in that state, take action from that state. Now, here's another way to look at this, because also we understand again that many times it's all about how you define things. Just because you don't necessarily experience the same sensation all the time doesn't mean you're not experiencing your excitement. Excitement doesn't mean you have to be jumping up and down all the time. Excitement can be a sense of perfect peace and balance. Mm-hmm. So don't assume that just because you're not running around with your hair on fire, don't assume you're not in your highest excitement. Don't let the outer reflection tell you what you are. You determine what you are. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being does. Yes?
Right.
So, whatever different form of excitement you may create in your life, all you have to know is that everything that happens must, by definition, be some expression of your joy, some expression of your passion, some expression of your excitement. Because how could it be otherwise? Unless, of course, you choose it to be otherwise. Mm-hmm. Do you choose something to not be an expression of your excitement? You can. But do you prefer that?
I always prefer the most exciting thing.
Then anything that happens, you must define it as part of your excitement and not an interruption in it.
See.
Yes?
Yes.
Because then you'll be able to extract the most exciting effect from it, no matter what's happening, no matter what anyone else's intention in that situation is toward you, which has absolutely nothing to do with you. Yes?
Right.
Unless you agree that it does. Yes?
Yes.
So it's all about how you define every experience you have. If you know that every experience is there as a representation of your excitement, then you will always experience it in that way, unless you choose to do otherwise. And that's how you stay in the moment.
Okay.
Because there is nowhere better to be, is there, than right here and right now with whatever it is that's happening, when you get as excited as a child with everything that happens because you're absolutely fascinated and curious as to why that's happening and what you can extract from it and what you can learn from it, and you don't want to be anywhere else but right here, right now, with exactly what's happening at this moment, then you will be yourself, living in the now. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar.
Good day.
Good day. Good evening.
Oh, all right. Good evening.
An open-ended question.
Open-ended.
Can you talk about the light body, the spiritualization of the material body on this earth?
Yes. Well, again, the idea, as was expressed to some degree in the transmission that we gave called the 9 levels of consciousness, but put more simply right now for this conversation, is simply the idea that you are a higher frequency energy. That is your natural state, in a sense. You are consciousness. And in a sense, it could be said that, again, euphemistically in your language, you densify, crystallize your essence into a particular vibratory pattern that to you represents the experience called physical reality. It's similar, again, by crude analogy, to the idea that what you really are is steam, but you can densify yourself into liquid and densify yourself even further into ice. It's all made of the same thing. It's all energy, it's all consciousness, it's all spirit, if you wish to use that term. But you can create different frequency patterns within your consciousness to give yourself the experience of that crystallization, that densification, to have a different kind of experience of yourself that you call physical materialization, which is simply all going on within your consciousness. Does that answer your question?
I'm not sure.
Oh, all right. In whatever direction would you like to take this, perhaps, to gain more clarity?
Well, as I understand it, the spiritualization of the material body is something that we're all, or almost all, going to go through as we go on into the enlightened years or the golden age. And
Are you talking about the idea of ascension?
of the one?
Ascension? Where you raise your vibration back up.
Ascension into, and
Yes, well, that's
in
just
the
raising
physical.
your vibration back up. That's just expanding your consciousness again out beyond the parameters of the physical focus. When you talk about these ideas of physical body and light body, understand those are just analogies. That's not actually what's happening mechanically. It's just an analogy. It's just your interpretation. It's just a symbol that you've created in physical reality. You can experience it that way as if you have a light body, an astral body, a mental body, causal body. You can have that experience, but that's not actually what's happening. You're just a consciousness. And your body, in a sense, is actually more in your consciousness than your consciousness is in your body. So when you go from the idea of being a physical body, as you say, to raising your vibration and going more into the light body, so to speak, this is just another way of saying that you're just raising your frequency and expanding your consciousness beyond the parameters of the physical focus you had before. That's all. You've densified your focus, and now you're expanding your focus of consciousness. That's all that's happening, and all those different levels that you're talking about, in a sense, are just convenient labels to give you something to hang your hat on, so to speak. But it's not an accurate description of what's mechanically happening. It's just an experience. It's just an analogy. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe, all right. In other words, don't get stuck on the labels, because the labels are just a convenience. Material body, light body, yes, we understand that those experiences can be had. But those things only exist within your consciousness as ideas, as frequency levels, as, you understand?
Yes, but this is something that is supposed to happen to the mass of mankind.
No, not the mass.
No?
It will only happen to those that decide that they're going to expand their consciousness. Remember, an infinite number of parallel reality Earths already exist. You don't change the world you're on. You change your vibration, and that shifts you to another parallel reality Earth that's already representative of the vibratory level you have changed to. But not everyone has to do that. The old Earth will still exist with all the people still on it who operate at that frequency. Only the ones that operate on a different frequency will shift to a world, another version of Earth that is representative of that higher frequency. Make sense?
Okay.
Now, the idea is that you are tipping the scales. More and more people on your planet are more aware of the idea that they are a consciousness, and they are raising their frequency. So more people on your planet than ever before, if you wish to simply take a number count, are in that sense shifting. So you could say, yes, the mass of humanity is uplifting to a great degree. But that doesn't mean that even though a whole bunch of you will shift all at once to different parallel realities more reflective of that upliftment, that all of you will necessarily. Some of you will decide that they want to go in another direction. But that's infinite. You can go in any direction you wish, based on whatever frequency domain you operate on, based on whatever signature vibration you give off will determine the parallel Earth that you experience. And that's how things change. No world itself actually changes. Only you change, and you shift to the world that already exists that's reflective of that change. And you keep doing that. And you're doing it right now billions of times per second, as we said. Does that make more sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
This is my very first time
all
being
right.
here in person with you, so bear with me. I have,
Bear with you.
yes.
You have a bear with you.
No, that's just the saying.
Oh,
okay?
all right.
All right, here. Okay, here is my first question. What do you think we can expect to happen after December 21st, 2012, in our global consciousness, in our economy, in our politics here in the United States of America, and how can these three areas affect the rest of our planet?
Thank you.
You are welcome.
To answer your first question, you can expect absolutely nothing.
What?
Remember, if you have been paying attention to what we said about acting on your highest excitement,
Yes.
the whole formula is this. Because we understand that many of you lock onto the excitement part and forget the rest of the formula.
Oh.
Act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you possibly can until you can take it no further, with zero expectation of what the outcome ought to be.
All right. I think
So
I
you can
remember that one.
expect nothing.
Ooh.
However, because many of you are focused on the expansion of your consciousness, you have created altogether a kind of collective consensus that we can read, in a sense, and tell you what the energy is that exists right now. Because you see, there is absolutely no such thing as a prediction of the future. No such thing. There is only a sensing of the energy that exists at the time the prediction is made.
Why do so many people make the predictions then?
Because they are sensing where a lot of energy, a lot of momentum may exist. And if that energy doesn't change, it will manifest. But if the energy does change, it won't. Something else will happen. That's when predictions don't come true. Because they may not recognize that the thing they're picking up on right now is just the energy as it exists right now, but they may not be sensitive enough to know whether or not there's a large amount of momentum behind it or a little bit of momentum behind it. Is it a high probability of manifestation or a low probability of manifestation? Because you're only capable of sensing what exists now. There is no then yet.
Whoa.
Because everything, every possible future already exists. So the idea is, which one will you probably experience based on the shifts within your energy? Then you have some degree of probability of manifestation of that particular experience. But if you change your mind, you won't have that. You'll have something else. And that's why when you hear a prediction, the knowledge of the prediction itself can actually render itself obsolete. Because it's telling you, hey, here's how the energy is laid out. If you don't prefer it, you can change it now that you're aware of it. And if you change it, well, you've just rendered the prediction moot. Yes?
Yes.
All right. But to get back to your original intention behind your question,
Okay.
since again, many of you have created a consensus and there is a lot of energy behind it, the probability is this: that you're using the idea of this date to recognize that it is, in a sense, again, as an illustration, the leading edge, the bow shock wave of the leading edge of your consciousness as it raises its frequency. Like going through the sound barrier and you have the big kaboom. That date is the demarcation line, the crossing of the threshold, the tipping of the scales, where you go as a collective from being more negative than positive to finally being slightly more positive collectively than negative. And from there, you can snowball, you can accelerate that effect into more and more and more positive manifestation. But all that means, as we've already explained, is that you're simply shifting your vibration collectively to different parallel realities that are already more representative of what it is you prefer your world to be, what you prefer your world experience to be. So the more of you that are preferring the idea of different social, different political, different economic, different religious systems, that is what you will get. But in fact, for a while, you may actually all get very different things, slightly different things, until you simply find that you're more harmoniously meshing with certain groups of people who will then shift to realities where they will all experience the same kind of idea. Now, more of you are creating a choice toward more openness, more freedom in a variety of ways. You are taking back your power. You're now tired of handing it over to others to do for you. And so you're seeing more and more opportunities for you to create the kind of systems that you prefer. But it's not about changing the systems that already exist. It's about creating new systems that will replace the old ones, new systems that are more representative of the realities you will be shifting to. And just let the old world go its way, because the old world will always exist. It's just that you'll no longer be focused on it.
And it will no longer affect us? Is that what you're saying?
Eventually, it will not, because the idea of the 2012 date is also what we have called, by analogy, a splitting prism. It's like a train station. When all the trains are in the station, all the tracks are side by side, right next to one another, yes?
Yes.
Each track represents a different idea, a different vibration, a different reality experience, but they're all very close, and it's easy to jump from one train to another. But when the trains all leave the station, as they now have, all the tracks start to split, start to diverge, become farther and farther and farther and farther apart, going to different destinations. Becomes less likely, as they get farther and farther apart, that you can jump from one train to another. Eventually, the tracks will be so far apart, all you will ever experience is what is on the train you chose to be on, and all the other trains will no longer be experienced in your reality. Over whatever period of time that takes will be different for many of you. But in general, you will find that there is a consensus to this particular process for most of the people on your planet that are choosing a certain frequency. One of the things we have pointed out that does have a lot of momentum behind it is that of open contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, which is one of the reasons we are having these kinds of conversations, because this is one of the first stages of contact between your world and other worlds. To have these dialogues, to introduce new ideas that change your frequency and make you more compatible with the idea of contact with other civilizations who are already operating more holistically than your world does. The idea, therefore, to sense the energy that exists right now with regard to this particular issue of contact is, as we read the energy, the most likely window for contact will be between your years of 2025 and 2033. As we read the energy now, that's the most probable window in which open contact will exist on your planet. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's a few years away.
Not really.
Well, I hope I'll
First
still be
and
here.
foremost, in your years of 2015 to 2017, that window, again, reading the probabilities that exist right now, your world will know sometime in that window of 2015 to 2017, will know for a fact that extraterrestrial life exists.
Ah, okay.
I am not saying how you will discover that. So don't assume I'm saying ships will land everywhere.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't.
Because I know how many of you interpret what we say. All we are saying is, and all we are saying is, we can sense, as far as the vibrational patterns of your collective reality go, as far as we interpret them, as far as we can read them,
Yes.
it seems highly probable, more than 90%, that sometime between 2015 and 2017, something will happen that will allow you to know that extraterrestrial life is a fact. The very fact that that now is in your mind, that knowledge itself will accelerate you toward the idea of the window of being capable of having the beginnings of open contact between 2025 and 2033, which really isn't that far away.
Okay, if you say that. Thank you.
How many of you thought 2012 was so far away and it's half over already?
Yeah, we did.
There you go.
I did.
Things accelerate when you start to learn to live in the moment. 2025 will be here before you know it.
Ha.
So the more you live the way you prefer to live, the more you will meet us halfway with your vibration, and then we can come the rest of the way. But you have to meet us halfway. We can't do it all for you. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that help you?
That helps me. I had one question about dreams. I don't know if you have time for that.
Time? What is time?
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot. Yes, we're in the now.
We
Keep
are.
forgetting that. Okay.
It's all
right.
about timing.
Yes.
not
yes.
time.
Okay. So may I ask my question?
That was a question.
Oh, okay.
So now you have to ask another one.
Oh, okay. That was fast. All right. The question is, I really focus a lot on dreams. I'm intrigued by them.
all
I'd
right.
like you to answer something for me.
Yes.
A few years ago, I dreamed I was a poet, and I woke up and began writing.
All right.
And then I began channeling
Yes.
poetry,
Yes.
and I have several books.
Yes.
I have very intense dreams now, and sometimes they seem so real.
They are real.
But when I wake up,
Yes.
sometimes I record them,
Yes.
and I can understand some of the messages, but there are others
Yes.
that are really gnawing at me, and I don't
That's because,
understand what
as
they mean.
any poet, you need some mystery along with the answers.
But I want the information. I want
You'll
the
get
answers to
it.
the dreams.
When you need it.
What?
You'll get it when you need it. What did I just say? It's about timing, not time.
But I might forget the dream.
No,
by
no,
then.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
There is no such thing as memory. That's an illusion. You simply learn to live in the moment, and when you live in the moment, you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. You will not know it a second before you need to know it, but I guarantee you will not know it a second later than you need to know it.
even if it bugs you.
The bugging is the mystery that lures you into more of yourself. What is poetry without the component of mystery?
Yes.
Then
Okay.
trust how your life unfolds. Trust that you know what you need to know when you need to know it, and it is only because you're worried about knowing it, it's only because you're worried about forgetting it that you forget. Relax.
That makes sense.
Relax.
Whoa, okay.
All the appointments have already been made. You will keep every single one of those appointments, whether they are with a person or with information or knowledge of any kind. You will keep all of those appointments that you have laid out for you in your life, with one exception. You will never keep an appointment if you spend your time worrying that you'll miss it.
Oh, okay.
So if you just relax and trust how your life is unfolding and work with what you get when you get it and not worry about what you're not getting, you will then get what you need.
Whoa, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let life work. You don't have to make it work. It already works just fine. All
I'm
right?
so blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and pleasant dreams.
Okay.
Hi, Bashar.
And good day to you.
It's such a joy to speak with you.
And you as well.
I had spoken with you before.
Yes.
My son, and he had some bipolar episode.
Yes.
And for 2 years, he didn't have one.
All right.
And then he just recently had one. And I believe I followed your advice this time.
Yes.
So thank you. And also, I just traveled to South Africa and
All right.
China
All right.
and back.
All right.
And I passed over the North Pole, both, coming and going.
Yes.
And I had a really mystical kind of spiritual experience.
All right. Such as?
I felt like my sorrows and challenges.
One moment. Say I.
I.
The tonal quality when you say I is solid. Stay in that frequency. Pretend you are always saying the word I
Okay.
and okay.
Okay, I.
Say everything in that tone.
Okay. Oh, okay.
No, in that tone, not I'm
gonna be singing in a minute.
Stay in the higher registers. Stay in the higher registers. There you go. Stay in that frequency. That's a reminder for you to raise your frequency. Because that's where your communication strength lies, in the higher frequency. Don't go down. Stay up.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Sing if you must.
Okay. I wish I knew a song.
Not that high.
Not that high.
Practice that.
Okay. So the North Pole.
Yes.
I wondered if you could speak about it as a Earth polarity and its relation to...
The idea for now, euphemistically, is for you to understand, again, that acting on your joy at all times is like the magnetic compass needle pointing to your magnetic north. Stay on that wavelength. Stay in that frequency with everything that you do. You gave yourself an opportunity to actually experience the magnetism of the physical location and that vortex on your planet, to acclimate yourself to that particular frequency more solidly. So all you have to do is allow yourself to remember that vibration, that experience of spirituality as you pass through that North Pole vortex, to allow yourself to know the appropriate frequency for you to stay aligned with, so that you will always be pointing to your own magnetic pole.
I thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day to you, too.
Pip, pip.
Pip, pip, hooray. It's so wonderful to be here. I want to thank you so much for the citation transformation. I had such a great time, and I appreciate all that you've brought in. And
All right.
today I'd like to ask some questions about some of my excitement that I've gotten from being with you. I've created some things,
Yes.
and gotten some downloads, including the Tribe of Infinite Beauty.
All right.
I've been practicing and sharing these rights and actually increasing like the synergy amongst groups and having some pretty fantastic transformations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I've noticed that more and more people are starting to share these kinds of group rights.
Yes.
And I'd like to
It is
hear,
a symptom of the expansion of consciousness.
I would like to know more about them if you have more to share.
More about the rights?
About this type of expansion, what the rights are offering, the synchronicities that come when we become our full selves in a group.
But you understand this already.
I know. I guess I was wondering if there's any more information to help accelerate these experiences.
Of course there is more information, which you will discover as you keep expanding.
Thank you for that.
You want me to spill all the beans?
Well, I am from Boston. Beantown, so we like the beans spread around.
All right. How synchronous.
Thank you. Well, my project or my space that I create is called Synchronicity Station, so
All right, there you go.
thank you.
So believe in what you have called yourself, and you will have all the information you need.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's up to you. I didn't do it.
Oh, well,
But you're welcome
Thank
anyway.
me so much.
Thank you.
I've also noticed that I've encountered a being, or perhaps a part of myself,
Yes.
called Rainbow Eagle Woman.
Yes.
I know some things about her, but there are some things that are mysterious, which
Such as?
she seems like I've noticed that a lot of people have been in bringing in this presence of the rainbow eagle.
Yes.
And I
Because
wonder
it's
if
representative of the idea of the full spectrum of vibrations. And thus, then, by combining the full spectrum, you rise higher and have the viewpoint of the eagle. That's the symbology.
Oh, thank you. And I there's another synchronicity. When I was in England, I was actually experiencing something like the concerts that you have.
Yes.
There was a gentleman named Tareth who did a ceremony where he was bringing those for the group to experience these tones. And so
Yes.
that would be, so we really do have the opportunity to experience these concerts.
Of course you do. You just have to listen in a different way.
And that's the secret for this.
It's not a secret at all. I just told you.
You did.
There I go, spilling your beans.
Thank you. Well, it's been a lot of fun interacting with you, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day. Speak up, speak up.
My question is related to open contact and how you use dreams
Yes.
and as a barometer of how.
We use how you remember
yes
as
how-
a barometer.
how we recall
Whether you
dreams.
recall in dreams or otherwise is not so much the issue. The rate at which you remember that many of you have already had contact gives us the barometer for when you're ready for more contact.
So I'm curious about some of the, I guess, agreements behind that. When
Yes.
when we're remembering these
Yes.
experiences through
Yes.
dreams, does this happen at the level of agreement with our higher mind
Yes.
that we're deciding, okay, now is
Through
the
the template level reality, the template level being that blueprint reality that you utilize to structure your physical reality experience. But the higher mind is involved in doing that.
okay? So it's a collective
Yes.
decision to say,
Yes.
okay, now okay.
Even though the physical mind, in a sense, may not always remember that.
Okay. And so what you're checking then is you're aware of that. It's not necessarily something that we have to communicate to any other being
No.
outside of ourselves. This is
No.
just naturally sort
Yes.
of, okay.
In a sense, it's like suddenly all waking up one day and realizing that without even knowing it, you all know the same thing.
And then,
It's the biggest secret that's no secret at all, eventually.
Okay. And then as we remember them through dreams, does
Yes.
that eventually shift into more conscious memory?
It does.
Okay.
Because the more you remember, you will get a reflection, more and more reflections in what you call your physical reality, that was real in its own terms, even though it may have taken place in a slightly shifted dimensionality space.
So I wanted to ask about one of my dreams.
Yes.
I was on a planet where it seemed as though the oceans, they kept the shape, the water of the oceans kept the shape of as though they look like the oceans here,
Yes.
but they're sitting on top of the ground and somehow still holding that shape.
All right.
Are you aware of this? And is my memory correct on this?
You're having an experience in a slightly altered dimension of reality. It is not exactly in your physical universe, but in the idea of some of the higher planes where you're playing around a little bit with exactly how to represent the recreation of your world. In other words, you're playing around in the template level reality. You just didn't put the ocean quite back where it belongs.
Okay.
But it's showing you that you have the ability to rearrange these things. It's showing you that you're working with the blueprint, and that if you simply rearrange the blueprint, the physical reality will follow suit, no matter how strange that may look.
Okay.
And remember that the idea of the water being above ground is also representative in many ways of emotionality being more on the surface.
Okay. All right.
More transparent.
Oh, okay. I woke up this morning, and I'm not quite sure I'm going to get this question out correctly, but it just, for some reason, it seems important to ask this.
All right.
So the idea that everything exists already.
Yes.
Everything exists.
The structure already exists completely.
Okay.
The experiences of it from different points of view are what's new.
And that's what I wanted to ask about, the experience.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a different perspective of the structure.
Right. So if there's no past, there's no time, and everything.
Well, there's the experience of time, but it doesn't actually exist as a mechanism per se within the structure. But the structure can give rise to that experience, that illusion.
So if we're creating all of these experiences
Yes.
based on perspective,
Yes.
okay, do every experience that can be had, does that also already exist?
No.
So wouldn't that be something new in all that is?
That's what I said. The structure already exists. What's new are the experiences. That's the act of creation expanding.
So how does that fit? I'm not making the connection. How does it fit in all that is already is all that it is?
It is all that it is.
But we're creating new.
But it's having the experience of becoming all that it is.
So all experiences don't exist yet.
No.
Okay. I have to kind of play with that
Speaking
one.
from the linear perspective, no. Speaking outside of time, yes. But speaking from the linear perspective, no, they don't.
Okay.
Because you're having these experiences, you're creating these processes, you're creating the experience of transformation, learning, and growth from within the framework of space-time. And from within that framework, they don't all exist. Within the one they do, but not within the idea of the experiences within space and time. Does that make sense in your language? It might not.
No, I think I get that. I get that in the context of.
It's all about context. It's all about perspective. It's all about your point of view. But it is the experiences that are the actual experience of all that is creating itself, discovering itself for the very first time, even though everything already exists. Remember, some of the difficulty you may be having in understanding this is the human mind's insistence on things being this or that, when in fact it's this and that.
Okay.
So it all exists and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Now you are dealing with absolute cutting edge creation when you're discussing this idea. And that's why there may be a little bit of difficulty in the translation of this concept into your language. Everything already exists, but the experiences don't, yet they do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so Now, I had another dream
Yes.
where I'm just going to describe it this way. I was sort of in the void, just consciousness. There was nothing else there, just darkness.
Yes.
But I was just aware I was consciousness. And well, at first I wasn't even aware that I was consciousness. I just sort of was there.
Yes.
And then thoughts, that's not the right word either, but sort of thoughts were
Yes.
flowing through my consciousness.
Yes, reflections.
And I was watching that manifest into the void.
Yes,
They're sort of
yes,
floating
yes,
out
yes,
there.
yes.
And as I'm sort of watching this,
Having your own little mini Big Bang.
yes. And so I'm doing this, and as soon as I went to sort of naturally reach out to one, it at that point, my personality construct, my ego construct, it got involved and went like, holy crap. Sorry. And I immediately left that state.
That's all right.
and
Crap can be holy.
But the thing that was interesting about that, because it brought me fully back into my body, but just prior to that,
Yes.
I experienced this overwhelming fear, fear's not quite right, but it's fear of just this power,
Yes.
how could I
Yes.
do this?
Yes. Well, that's the, again, physical ego structure attempting to come to terms with something it can't possibly contain. The vibration you're referring to as fear is simply the border beyond which the ego can't cross. It has reached its capacity to contain that experience and feels that if it is pushed farther, it will be annihilated, it will explode. Because it is simply not built to contain the experience to that degree. That's all. You were simply feeling the vibration of the borderline between your physical reality and your non-physical self. And how, in a sense, grand you actually really truly all are.
Okay.
That's why we say, if you truly experienced right now as a physical being the degree of ecstatic energy that you actually are, you would explode.
Yeah, I could see that after
All
that.
right.
Okay, one last thing. And it's another dream. And I was with my brother, and it was at night, and we were in this area where there were a lot of people in a stadium. It was an open outdoor stadium. And I look up in the sky, and I see ships, UFOs.
Yes.
And I'm really thrilled because every time I see him in my dreams, I'm really very happy and excited. And so I'm really happy, and I start pointing to my brother, look, and they're very, very close.
Yes.
But nobody else sees them. My brother doesn't see them. No one else sees
This
them.
is quite common.
So
You have to be of a certain frequency to perceive certain things that are slightly out of phase with your reality.
So I'm wondering, though, is that something that he and I experienced together?
In
or?
a sense, but it was a consciousness connection, a consciousness realization for you. It was something that you had worked out together on a dream level to teach you the difference between frequencies. That's the frequency you want to be in.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, and I recognize that in the dream. I was saying to myself,
All right.
oh, okay, everybody's not at the proper frequency to
It's
see
not
this.
about proper.
Or the frequency.
It's just what is relevant
Okay.
to that experience. That's the frequency that's relevant to the experience of seeing what is always all around you, but is invisible to most of you. Change your frequency, and what was invisible will become visible. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this timing, you may take a short break. We will resume this transmission with the holotope meditation to help crystallize and anchor into you the idea of resonance and reflection. Enjoy a very short break.
Idea of demons are simply a manifestational projection from the negative side of collective consciousness of humanity. So we would like to repeat the idea that they do not have their own independent existence apart from that collective consciousness where, in a sense, when fear-based and negative beliefs take precedence in a person's consciousness, they can be crafted, so to speak, out of the energy of the collective consciousness on the negative side, formed, so to speak, from the clay of that negative collective consciousness, and are projections of any individual tapping into that negative collective consciousness to form the experience or reflection of a demon, and they are not independent entities in their own right. Therefore, that monologue has addressed all the questions that may have been asked in a way that implies that demons are independent entities, which they are not. So those questions are eliminated. They are already answered.
Okay, I'll do my best to avoid those. The first one has to do with the representation of the Lucifer archetype and the idea that there's an asteroid Lucifer in astrology that could symbolize how we might be influenced by darker energies or even be tied to unbreakable soul contracts. And what this person is asking for is a more empowering or positive view on how to understand and work with this archetype.
As you know, in your language, the name Lucifer actually means light bringer. So the idea, again, is that it reflects the concept of taking light in its highest form and reducing it energetically, vibrationally down to a physical level, lowering the frequency. This is what is meant by the concept of a fallen angel, that its vibrational frequency is reduced to such a degree that it expresses itself in physical terms at a lower density, a lower vibration. Now, this doesn't happen specifically to an actual angel, but the idea is representative and reflective of the idea of your higher natures, as you often say, the angels of your better natures, your true essential beingness, which is light and love, in a sense being lowered in frequency to be experienced and densified into physical materiality. So the idea of Lucifer is simply the idea of archetypally dealing with the polarity that exists in the way that it is expressed in physical reality between positive and negative, light and dark, so on and so forth. So it is that reflection which can bring up fears within an individual or within a collective and must be dealt with and transformed by turning it back into the light or balancing the darkness with the light within each and every individual.
Okay, thank you. And could you explain the concept of as above, so below when it comes to negative energy? When we experience wars, injustice, and dehumanization, what is happening above that it translates to these atrocities below?
The challenges on your life path are created in a spiritual blueprint that then play out in physical reality below, so to speak, in the denser reality of a lower frequency, but according to the belief system in the personality as to whether that is dominated by positive and or negative beliefs. So it's not necessarily that the blueprint itself contains the struggle or the strife that you experience in war and other kinds of experiences like that, but the challenges that are outlined in the life path blueprint are then colored by the belief systems in the physical personality to be experienced in ways that allow you to overcome those challenges relative to the physical personality point of view.
Okay, and can you speak about the demons or Satan that Jesus faced and those that archetype Archangel Michael faces?
Again, the idea is to understand that Yeshua or Jesus, just like you, understood the idea that demons are a projection of the collective negative consciousness of humanity, and it is simply a way of referencing that he, like you, had to deal with and transform and balance those energies within himself as a human so that he would balance them, face them, deal with them in a way that would allow him to transcend the idea of experiencing negativity for himself, but still outwardly would express that idea in such events as the crucifixion and the torturing and suffering, to represent the idea of how humanity sees itself, how it represents itself, how it experiences itself in a negative way that can be transcended in a positive way by then the events of the upliftment, of the resurrection, and the ascension. The idea of archangels experiencing interactions with negativity is simply another way of saying that when angels deal with humanity, they recognize that that polarity exists, but they are, in a sense, above that and do not experience it directly for themselves.
And what exactly is black magic? Does it work? How? And why do some people practice it?
Again, this has to do with misconceptions of empowerment. It is the idea of utilizing synchronicity in a negative way. So the idea is simply another expression of polarity, recognizing one's self-empowerment for the creation and manifestation of certain events or effects in physical reality, but doing it from kind of a negative point of view, that one must proceed in the darkness in order to affect the reality or the life in the way that one intends or one prefers, rather than coming from the side of light.
Okay, and could you shed some light on the idea that people are possessed by demons, such as a nun crawling up the walls and the ceiling inside of a room, which was witnessed by a priest, or other such occurrences witnessed? How does an exorcist remove the demons from such people?
Again, this is happening internally. Remember that this is your own energy, and you are capable of manifesting many different kinds of effects, like levitation, crawling up walls, things like that, when the belief system is strong enough to allow those effects to occur and overcome what might be a typical understanding of physical reality, to demonstrate those abilities, to demonstrate those powers, but again, being done from the fear or negative-based side. A possession is, again, a recognition that it is your own energy. That's why it's in your body. But it is the idea that it is coming from outside because you are in denial of the fact that you are creating the demonic force out of the collective negative consciousness. So the idea of possession is a sort of polarized way of understanding that it is your own energy, but through the denial that it's happening from you, so you project it on the outside, that you are being possessed by a demonic entity from the outside, but that is simply a convenient way of not facing the fact that you are actually creating this energy within yourself by going so deeply into the idea of negative and fear-based beliefs that it takes over your physical form to the extent that you can actually exhibit some of the features that you are talking about.
Can you talk about the idea of protection from negative energies and using things like crystals, flower essences, and other things to protect and create a positive energy field? How do things like that work? And does focusing on the idea of protection in any way create more of an idea of a threat and something to be protected against? Or can these things be explored in a positive and supportive way without calling all that in?
Yes, they can. Now, it's all well and good if you wish, and if it makes you feel better, to say that you are surrounding yourself with white light or using a crystal to clear the energies, or sage to clear the energies of the room, so that you are using a permission slip to establish that you have a preference for a particular positive vibration, so that the idea is that you will not allow your energy to match the frequencies of something that you might deem to be a more negative idea or a negative belief system. So in that sense, yes, you can do that. But the overindulgence or the over worry of the idea of needing protection or requiring protection can in fact actually invite the idea of your energy matching more negative frequencies, because you are believing so deeply that you need the protection. You are actually creating the idea of the experience of being attacked because you are believing so strongly that you might be attacked, thus believing very strongly that you need the protection, instead of doing it more lightly, just as a statement of the vibrational frequency that you prefer in your intentions toward all things and experiences in your life. So it's a matter of balancing that idea and using the permission slips in a lighter and more positive way, rather than steeping yourself in the fear that if you don't protect yourself, something might get you, which again is only going to be your own energy matching negative vibrational frequencies that would allow you to experience the effect as if you are being attacked by something outside yourself when it's all going on internally. So again, it's a matter of balance.
So along those ideas, let's say
One
someone
moment,
lives in a
one moment. To answer the previous question fully, the idea of an exorcist is really simply someone who allows them to get in touch, allows the person that appears to be possessed to get in touch with the fact that it is coming from their own belief system and that they themselves are manifesting that particular experience from their own energy. So in a sense, an exorcist is sort of like a type of psychologist that can aid and assist a person to get out of denial that they themselves are creating that effect, and that demons don't really exist as outside entities, but that that person is that powerful that they can create that effect within themselves. But they have to own it, they have to take responsibility for it, and then they will find that they are no longer, quote unquote, possessed. So that's what an exorcist actually does, is use the person's belief system in the negativity to overcome it by their belief in the positive energy that is capable of overcoming it. But it's all, in a sense, deep psychology that puts a person in touch and out of denial of their own fear-based and negative belief systems.
Okay, that's great. And as far as the protection idea, for example, if someone is living in a neighborhood and suddenly they become aware that there's been a number of robberies, and then that person decides for their own protection to put an alarm system in or take some steps in order to increase their security. Is that fear-based, or in what makes that okay?
It is moderately fear-based, but at the same time, it can be done in a balanced way that simply recognizes the environment and the nature of the environment that you may be living in. So it's all right to be quote unquote practical and take certain precautions, as long as it doesn't become an obsession which could actually drive the negative experience toward you. So again, it's a matter of practical balance. It's a matter of understanding what environment you may have chosen to live in, so that you can take moderate precautions to simply make you aware and alert of what is going on around you with other people, so that you don't necessarily have to pay that much attention to all the little details. It can do something for you to help you relax, to understand that then you can focus on other things by having taken a modicum of awareness, a modicum of protection in that context. But as long as it doesn't become a full obsession, then there is nothing to worry about.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
This question is, because we are afraid of our own light, our own infinite power, is this why our ego creates the idea of demons?
Yes. Exactly what we explained in the monologue.
And this individual is saying that sometimes they see demons around people that seem to contribute to physical symptoms like high blood pressure or back pain. Can you explain why this might happen and share ways to help people address it and prevent it from recurring?
Again, as we have already explained, these are what appear to be externalized manifestations of an internal idea of fear-based or negative beliefs that crafts these demonic representations or archetypal forms out of the collective clay of the collective consciousness on the negative side of humanity. So someone may be capable of perceiving that another person is doing this, and they may empathically pick up on the idea of that this manifestation has a certain form to it, a certain energy to it that can be represented archetypally in the shape of what humanity has labeled as a demon. But again, you can be aware that this is simply a projection of that person going through that experience, experiencing their own negative energy in that way. But a person might be sensitive enough to pick up on that and actually see the manifestations as if they truly were external independent entities, which they are not.
And this individual says, as a mental health therapist, they treat clients labeled with schizophrenia, bipolar, paranoia, and borderline personality disorders. These clients represent or report having delusions and hallucinations of demons and voices.
Yes.
Could you explain what is occurring in those? Well, I think you've explained it, but and how they might be assisted in understanding what's happening so they can gain insight and connection to their higher self and feel more in control of their lives?
Well, if they are willing to receive it, if they are willing to accept it, the explanation we have already given about how demonic reflections are created out of the collective clay of the consciousness that is negative of humanity, if that can be shared, that idea can be explained to an individual, they can begin to get in touch with taking responsibility and diving into their belief systems of how they feel about themselves, why they would continue to torture or punish themselves that way. Then perhaps they can be helped if they're willing to accept that understanding. So everything that we've already talked about can be of help to those individuals, but they simply have to be willing to understand, to listen, to absorb and accept that explanation and take responsibility for it, which is not meaning to blame themselves, but just to understand the mechanism of how these things work so they can get in touch with negative beliefs they may have picked up along the way in their life and understand that those negative beliefs may have been, shall we say, telepathically reinforced within them in growing up, and can understand now that they have the freedom and the self-empowerment to let those beliefs go, that they really have no reason to perpetuate those beliefs against themselves in that way and have those kinds of experiences. But again, on top of all that, remember that sometimes an individual will, on their life path, choose to exhibit certain conditions, certain experiences that might help others figure out how to deal with them, how to cure, how to solve, so on and so forth. So sometimes an individual will choose that particular experience to help others figure out how to deal with it so that humanity can improve and understand its relationship to those kinds of conditions more fully. So it depends upon the life path as to why that individual may be experiencing that thing and how they may be serving others in having chosen to do so as a soul.
Thank you. This person is asking, how can I approach troubling topics such as war crimes and the ritual abuse of children? Are these issues reflections of aspects of myself that I am rejecting? If I view them as a mirror to heal my own wounds, I may not perceive them in my reality, but I feel a sense of responsibility to those who are suffering. I want to avoid adding energy to those dark issues by fixating on them, yet I also don't want to deny their existence or feel as though I'm abandoning those in need. How can I navigate this situation in a way that is beneficial for everyone involved?
All right, this goes back to what we have said about the idea of reflections in your reality. It doesn't mean that what you see is a one-to-one reflection of something that is an issue within you that you need to deal with literally and directly. However, if you can perceive it in your reality, the idea is you can help where you can. You can take the actions to help mitigate the suffering of others in some way, shape, or form, if possible. So the idea is not that you fixate on it, but that you're aware of it. You recognize that as you perceive it, it may be that the reflection for you is it gives you an opportunity to help those individuals cease their suffering. So take actions in a positive direction, in a loving direction that might help mitigate their suffering, and you will be doing what it is perhaps that you need to do to figure out the reason why that is in your life. It doesn't mean that you necessarily are adding to their negativity. If you are willing to help them find a way to exit from the suffering that they have been experiencing because of their belief systems or their experiences in life. So by all means, you can be of great assistance. You don't have to worry about adding to their suffering just because you are aware of their situation.
Okay, and can you explain spiritual warfare, hell, and the duality that is inside all of us?
Well, the duality that's inside everyone is simply a reflection of the polarity that is part of existence, the negative and the positive. I'm speaking mechanically, the idea of lower vibrations, higher frequencies, light and dark, so on and so forth. Positive, negative, mechanically speaking. Positive being that which connects and expands, negative being that which creates the experience of separation and diminishment. But these are just mechanical energies that exist on every level of existence. So the idea is the duality is just a natural state of existence, and you can learn to balance it in a way that you can then choose what you prefer to experience rather than succumbing to beliefs that might be negative or fear-based that would allow you to experience things you don't prefer. Spiritual warfare doesn't really exist. The idea, again, is that hell doesn't really exist, except as you make it, except as you deem it to be true for yourself. You will experience suffering and negativity in a way that could be described as a living hell. So the place itself is not real. People who believe in hell, when they die, if they really believe strongly enough that they will experience the idea of the so-called burning fires of hell, or however they have chosen to represent that concept, may experience it for a brief split second, because what you think, what you believe in spirit is instantly experienced, but the instant that they would experience it, it would be so awful that they would wish that they would not experience it, and then they would stop experiencing it in spirit, because things happen instantaneously in spirit because time is different there. Spiritual warfare is a contradiction in terms. If you are spiritual, there is no warfare. The idea of conflict in that sense has to do with succumbing to fear-based and negative vibrations that would cause one to suffer, to struggle, to experience conflict, so on and so forth, to experience opposition in that sense, whereas a being that is truly more balanced in its spirituality will never experience those things and would experience more of a flow and an ease in communication and in concept. So the idea of spiritual warfare, in a sense, doesn't really exist.
One piece. So sometimes recently I've been very, very afraid.
Very
Afraid.
of.
Afraid of what might happen in the future.
Well, that's the easiest question to ask to reveal what the negative beliefs are that you're holding on to, that you think benefit you somehow. That's exactly the perfect question to ask. If I did in fact allow myself to be who I prefer to be and follow my passion in the way I would prefer to, what am I most afraid might happen?
Yeah.
That will usually reveal the negative belief. And then you have something to work with and ask yourself, well, why do I believe that to be true? Why do I believe that it benefits me to hold on to that? What am I afraid of in terms of the alternative? Why do I have a definition of the alternative that's supposed to be my excitement that I would be defining as something negative?
Yeah.
Because again, that would instantly tell you that you don't have a clear definition of excitement. Because if you actually had a clear definition of your passion, you would understand that by definition, your passion cannot contain a negative experience. And when you say, well, I'm going to act on my passion, but if I do, something negative might happen, that's not a definition of your passion. It's a different definition that you're working with. So you have to be very clear and precise about your definitions.
Yeah, thank you.
And when you hear things come out of your mouth or thoughts go through your head that sound like facts, you have to stop yourself and catch yourself and remember they're not facts. They're just opinions, perspectives, and beliefs, and they can be changed. Yes?
Yes.
Because when people on your planet say, well, everyone knows how difficult that is, no, they don't. It's not a fact. It's a fact that you believe it, but it's not an empirical fact unto itself that things have to be a struggle. That's just an opinion, a perspective, and what you've been taught, it's a belief that you bought into as true. And that's all it is. And those things can always be changed. The only things that can't be changed are what we call the 5 laws, the only 5 facts we have ever found in existence. You exist, everything is here and now, the one is all, the all are one, what you put out is what you get back, and everything changes but the laws. That's it. Everything else is a perspective.
Thank you.
Does that help?
It does.
Thank you.
I have a question about forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes.
So when I decide I want to forgive someone,
Yes.
one method I reach for is imagining that they're doing the absolute best they can given their past and current circumstances.
Yes, they are.
Sort of
All of you are.
Yeah, like a forgive them, Father, they know what not they do kind of idea.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yes.
But I noticed that sometimes sets up in me a subtle like superiority of them, which is
Well, then you have to examine things within you that you need to forgive within yourself.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. I was going to ask, the question is, what is there a frame of reference I could use for forgiveness that wouldn't lead me down that path as much? Or is it just the one that you just said to forgive myself?
Well, again, you understand that some people may simply never have been taught the tools they need to express themselves in a more positive way. So you can come from compassion in the same way that you don't really hold a child to blame or responsible for something that they don't understand how to do better. Yes?
Yes.
You teach them how to do it better. Now, it doesn't mean they have to choose it.
Right.
But the idea is that you need to be the shining example that will allow them to know that at least there's an option for how they could be living their life more joyfully by seeing that you're doing it. Because generally speaking, when you see empowered people, you want to know how they're empowered. And you will want to figure out how to do the same thing for yourself. So teaching them the instruction manual, how it works, will at least give them the option. They may still be holding on to beliefs that won't let them abide by it or use it to their advantage, but you've done what you can, and what they do with what you've taught them is none of your business.
Right. I can have compassion for their experience and respect their choices.
And absolutely respect their choices, because you don't know what their path actually is.
No.
And you don't know what they really might need to go through in order to have a greater appreciation when they finally do understand how to transform.
Yeah.
All you can do is give them some options and be on your way.
Thank you.
Does that help?
That does.
All right.
And just imparting, what frequency are you reading in me?
Right now,
Yes.
about 156,000 cycles per second.
Thank you very much.
You're
My
very welcome.
unconditional love to you, Bashar.
And you as well.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One is about human death.
Human death?
Death, yes.
Yes.
I'm
What
sorry.
about it?
Seemingly, well, it relates to the negative beliefs. Seemingly human when we die.
Yes.
Human means Earth human. We have a lot of negativity beliefs
About what happened?
about death.
Yes, I know.
And that might be creating a lot of disease or
Absolutely.
pain.
Absolutely. Because as we said, death is just waking up from a dream.
Yes, I understand that. But not many human doesn't. And it might be maybe you can help me to how to support who doesn't understand this concept or the mechanism.
Well, again, you can only give them the information based on your level of understanding, and you have to allow them to understand it or not understand it. But that's all you can do. It's something that can be explained. More and more people on your planet are beginning to investigate the concepts of what happens after you die and are realizing that you do continue, that there are many kinds of things that can be experienced in spirit, that it's really up to you to choose. More and more of that information is finding its way into your society. This is why you are realizing that subjects like so-called near-death experiences are becoming more and more well-known. Because people die, they go to the other side, they say, oh, this isn't so bad, and then they come back and say so. So there's a lot of information that people can find if they're interested in finding it. And you can be a part of that research and give them information and so on and so forth to the best of your ability, but that's just about all you can do.
So after we understand that how exactly transition is,
Yeah.
then we don't have to have a disease or suffering.
No, not
or
really. You
pain
don't have to.
through the death.
No, you don't have to.
So we don't have to create.
We don't have it.
Yeah,
Our society has none of it.
yeah, that's what I imagine.
When it's time to go, we just go. Now, the idea, again, is you can also help people understand this by helping them understand that physical reality isn't real. It's just a dream. So if you start with the understanding of people becoming more lucid in the physical dream and understanding it's just a projection of consciousness, then they'll understand that death is really no big deal. Because in a sense, you're already dead.
Yes.
Because as I said, spirit is your natural state. Therefore, you're just pretending that you're not in spirit. So if you can understand that physical reality isn't real, the experience of it is real, but the solidity of it is not. And even your own physicists are beginning to understand this. It's just a projection. So the more you understand the illusionary aspect of physical reality, the easier it will also be to understand the reality of non-physical reality. You'll start to blend them together. There won't be so much of a difference between the two states. Yes?
Yes.
All right, so that's one way to go about it. What's your second question?
Related to the ending part.
Did you say alien?
No, ending part of your answer. That
Yes.
You said it to blending spirit and
Yes.
and I am experiencing a lot of this right now.
It's
And
part of the symptoms of expansion of consciousness
Yes.
that you start seeing how unreal physical reality is and how real spiritual reality is.
and creating my reality,
Yes.
even the physical
Yes.
condition
Yes.
that from inside of me,
Yes.
inner part of me, that
Yes. Yes.
higher. Well, I don't like to say higher or the lower, but
It's all right. We understand what you mean by that.
yes, the word is sometimes hard to explain.
That's
but-
a belief system.
Yes, I know. That's why it's hard.
That's a belief system too.
So I understand the concept of turning off, just to take off the light bulb, that today's your
Yes.
conversation. I have another belief system before you say, I hope that that much easy, just take
You don't have to hope it. If you understand the concept, you know that it works. Knowing is way beyond hope and faith. You understand how things work.
Yes, and that understanding or knowing is automatically coming through my
Yes, that's part of the process
journey.
of transformation on your planet at this time. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. But it's just giving, right now I am a little bit, so human term, hard time of those merging two, and one side is the spirit or expanded consciousness, the way I live,
Yes.
daily life, and also all the belief system I have in this identity of my human Mikiko.
Yes.
And those are just a belief system I accumulated in.
Well, it's a mask.
Yes, yes.
It's a part that you're playing. Now, you at every level will still feel like your identity, your core identity never goes away. You will always see yourself still as you. But the idea of Mikiko is just a part of the greater you. So when you expand into spirit, Mikiko won't go away, but Mikiko will be a part of what you are as a greater being. It will still be you. Yes?
Like a beach, but also beach contains the grain of sand, and a Mikiko is the grain of sand.
Yes.
And it's still there.
Did you just call yourself a beach?
Well, I am beach in that sense, but I still have this and then a multidimensional different being that you explained to the other questioner.
Yes.
I understand that, and then I can feel I'm having different dimensional experience
All right.
on a daily basis, but
There's no but.
yeah.
You see, when you say, I'm having this, and then you go, but, you're canceling what you just said. So why not just stay? I am having these wonderful experiences, and I know they will continue. And even if I discover something within myself because of the reflective mirror that is out of alignment with that, I know I will use it to my advantage and continue having wonderful experiences, because discovering something that's out of alignment is part of my wonderful experiences. So there is no but.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. It's very important in these conversations to get you all off your butts.
I want to first thank you. This is my first Bashar event.
All right. Good day to you. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to say.
Okay. My first question when I first wrote that down was I wanted to get move more towards my passion, or let me say what I felt was my life purpose. You explained that somewhat today, a little bit, where I think I got some of it, but
Yes.
the kit, can you just go over that just a little bit more, this whole kit thing that you were just referring to, the reflective ed, so I can get it clearly?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So the activation formula, as we said, is that you act on your passion to the best you can. In other words, that means whatever contains even just a little bit more excitement, attractiveness, curiosity than any other option at any given moment, you do that one first. With no assumption, no insistence on where you think it's supposed to lead or why it happened that way. That's the activation formula. You do it to the best of your ability till you can do it no further, till either you cannot take it any further or the excitement wanes, and that will be enough at that moment. When you keep doing that every moment with every option that comes along, no matter how simple or grand it may be, if it's always the one that contains more excitement than anything else, do that to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome. That activates all the tools in the kit. The first tool is the driving engine in your life. In other words, it moves you through life, because if it is your passion, you are so excited and so energized to do it, nothing else matters, and you just keep doing it. You follow me?
I do.
So it gives you the energy, it gives you the drive to do it, because it's the frequency of your true self. You're aligned with it. It gives you the energy. It flows through you. The second tool is synchronicity, which is the organizing principle of your life. It will bring you the information and circumstances and opportunities you need in the order in which you need to act on them, by allowing them to contain more excitement than anything else, so that you recognize it's the first thing to act on. At the end of the day, when you are excited about being tired and going to sleep, whatever you didn't get done that day, if you were following the organizing principle as best as you could, didn't need to be done that day.
Okay.
Because it completely organizes everything you need to do when you need to do it. It's all about timing, not time. The next tool is it becomes the path of least resistance. It allows you to flow more easily in life, effortlessly in those things. Yes, of course, there will always be challenges. Yes, you might be doing some physical work, but as you say on your own planet, a labor of love is no labor at all. You enjoy what you're doing. It enriches you. It inspires you. It gives you a sense of grounding. It allows you to feel tangible connection to physical reality that you do these things. But it's still the path of least resistance. Many times when people think, oh, well, I just want to go from here to here, the straightest possible path. If that's not your path, if that's not the path that's aligned with you, then a path that winds around like this all over the place, but is actually the path of least resistance, will actually be faster than the shorter one, because the shorter one, if it's not yours, will be full of resistance and slow you down. So it becomes the path of least resistance. You start to trust the synchronicity that it takes you where you need to go. You follow that thread of passion in whatever form it comes, because that is the path of least resistance, because it's the energy that's most harmoniously aligned with you. So there is no resistance. Then it becomes the path that connects you to all expressions of excitement in your life that are relevant for your theme of exploration. Sometimes you may be doing one thing and it might look completely different from something else that may excite you, but if you act on the one that excites you the most to the best of your ability, if it is connected to the other one, it will lead you there eventually, or give you what you need by the time you wind up doing this other thing. It is a timing dance, it's a choreography, it's an orchestration. All the things you need to do that are representative of your truth, of your vibration, of your path, of your excitement, will be done in your life in perfect timing. They don't all have to happen at once. You don't need to create this schedule of rush, rush, rush. I need to get this done because I'm going to miss something. I'm going to run out of time. No, it all orchestrates itself in perfect timing and connects you to every expression that you need to express in this life in order for you to feel fulfilled. It brings you whatever kind of support you need in life. Whatever form of abundance you need, be it the idea on your planet of money, if that is necessary, or a gift, or synchronicity, or some other form of abundance that will support you in your ability to continue to act on your excitement. Because as we have said, our definition of abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And pay attention to the fact that I didn't say it's the ability to do what you want to do. I said it's the ability to do what you need to do, because what you need in life is actually what will fulfill you. Sometimes your wants and your needs may coincide, but very often, if you are a little bit confused within the ego structure, something you think you want that will make things better may not actually be what you need. But if you always want what you need, your life will be fulfilled, because what you need will always come to you through the synchronicity. So abundance will be there to support you in whatever form or combination of symbols it needs to be there in order to support you to the degree that you can continue to do what you need to do to act on your excitement when you need to. Then there is the reflective mirror, as we said before, that always brings up, as you're traveling forward, something that says, wait a minute, you've gotten to a point now where your energy is such, on your higher vibration is such, that you can now handle me telling you that there is something within your belief system that's out of alignment with who you really prefer to be. So stop what you're doing, take a moment and realize that this is the most important thing you need to pay attention to right here and right now, because by paying attention to what that negative belief is that's out of alignment, finding out what it is, letting it go because it makes no sense, it doesn't serve you, is what will allow you to flow your energy through more positive belief systems and expand your ability to accelerate forward in your passion and in your excitement in life. And then the idea is that if you always remain in a positive state, knowing that everything happens for a reason, then even if something manifests that you don't neutrally, objectively prefer, if you use it in a positive state, you will be learning from it something that will serve you. You'll get a beneficial effect from it, and that will allow you to use what you don't prefer in a way that you do, remembering, as we said, that it doesn't really matter what happens, it only really matters what you do with what happens, and that's what makes all the difference, and that is the entire instruction manual. Does that help you?
It does. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
One question.
Yes.
I'm finding that a lot of times in deep meditation, I am crying a lot.
That's all right. Understand that every time you hold on to a negative belief and a positive one, but this concerns the negative ones,
Okay.
because you are expressing yourself as a physical being, yes, you have a body that in your reality you say is made of chemicals, yes, atoms, molecules, chemistry, yes? Well, every time you have a particular belief that you're holding on to, you're rewiring your neurology in your brain to create paths for that belief to exist, but you're also creating chemical constituents, chemical representations of that belief in your body. So when you are finally willing to be in a state where you don't need those negative beliefs, where you're letting them go, how are they going to get out of your body? They wash out through your tears.
I see.
That's tears of release. You understand?
I do.
Because when you go into those states, you can't hold on to those chemical components that represent negative beliefs. There's no place for them. So they have to escape from your body. They will flow out through your tears. They can flow out through perspiration and other ways as well. But most common is they will flow out through your tears. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
It does. Thank you very much.
You are so very
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Okay.